Akira and Miki's relationship. We've already talked about some of their interactions when we were talking about best scenes, but like this is just a really well-acted, nuanced relationship. Like so much of what they do on screen, just the movements of the characters and the intonations of the voices, like the communication of their relationship, like is so subtle and eloquent. Like you feel the depth of their bond, and you feel the nature of it. I mean, as Akira like comes into his own sexually, he's like, hey, Miki Green Eyes, you're looking pretty good there. But he never like lets himself go that way. Like seeing her and being sexually attracted to her, like it is conveyed in a way that I didn't find yucky. But like,
yeah,
you know, I too have the male gaze, so of course I'm like want to say that. And I guess, you know, I'd understand, right, if there are folks that were like, oh, it was creepy. But I don't know. I mean, just for me, from my point of view, like that, like the sexual tension, I thought was like again, it was just another layer, another aspect of their relationship that was multifaceted and conveyed very, very well, I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I do wonder sometimes, though, she's not quite, you know, catching on to what's happened to Akira, because there's literally, like, he's literally jumping between floors in the house. Like, he jumps from the lower balcony to the top, and she doesn't find that strange. I have no issue with that at all, but I just found it funny. I was like, he just literally jumps up like he's Spider-Man.
I love how much you can't tell is like over the top and surreal that like regular people just take for granted. Like the crazy devil running, everyone's like, wow, you're fast.
Yeah. Every time we watch the show, I forget about the devil running until it happens, and I just crack up.
Yeah.
Like the average person's underreaction to the insanity that's going on. It's a nice tonal balance in the comedic sense, at least.
And then it contrasts, funnily enough, with how people react once they do find out about the existence of demons.
Yep.
Like, people are not willing to believe it could be anything like that until they're given solid proof, and then suddenly it's everyone's a demon.
Yeah.
I have to say about Miki and Akira, though, like, Miki is in some ways you might find her a little bit annoying in places. I'm not saying I do, but I'm saying I could see people seeing that way, because she is very virtuous most, if not all, the time. She seems very flawless.
Yeah.
But that, I think she serves a very strong purpose in the show as a voice of reason. Like, she's firm with people when she needs to be, like with the guys when the rap crew get almost arrested in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And she's similarly firm with the gang that, like, come after her, like, shortly after things go downhill.
Man, can I say that moment in the store?
Yeah.
As I was doing my rewatch, like, a lot of the very violent stuff, I don't want to say not hitting as hard, because, like, it wasn't hitting as hard emotionally, I guess. Like, okay, like, yes, I've seen this, like, I just watched it, so maybe a little bit of the impact was dulled. That hold-up scene, with the cops in the mall, like, is just as tense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going into that scene, like, when things started going that way, I was like, oh, they're all dead. Everyone's dead. I know which way this is going. And when it didn't, I was like, the only reason I feel that this is unrealistic is because of, like, where I live.
I have to say, like, as well, with, like, with Miki, it's worth bringing up that earlier on in the show, before the demons even really come about, she is being groomed, shall we say. Yeah, groomed is probably the right word for it, by a sleazy photographer.
Yeah.
Who is essentially trying to get naked pics of her, and has even installed some nonsense like one-way mirror and thing in the bathroom of his house.
Also to force himself upon her, as he did other Miki.
Yep. I have to say, like, I found this
douchebag.
Yeah, I'm glad he died. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Great voice actor, though.
Mm-hmm.
Love that guy.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. I totally recognized it, but who was it?
Did either of you guys see 91 Days last year?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You know the villain Fango?
Oh, is he?
That's him.
Is he that guy?
Yep.
Wow.
I knew her. I was like, I know I recognize this guy.
He's amazing.
Man.
That guy is great.
But what I found interesting about that scene was that I think one of the other things that this ties into later stuff, but I think it's important it's shown off before the demons are revealed, is that humans are very good at making evil for themselves and acting in evil ways without any outside influence. Like, the the demons have no influence or make any suggestion or anything towards the sleazy photographer man. He is acting solely because he's a bastard.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one of the things that Devilman tries to tell us, at the very least, is that, you've got to check your own behavior and check your own. You can't rely necessarily on if you're subject to evil thoughts, like, you've got to, like, challenge themselves. Like, Akira maintains his humanity throughout most of it. There's the moments with Celine where he almost loses it, but even when tested, like with the stoners, the people throwing stones at the crowd, and the people are tied up, he still prostrates himself before them. He still wants to seek a better way, even though he is literally possessed by a devil, and a very powerful devil by that. So I think that, it's important that I mean, that guy's a prick, but I appreciate the presence of the scene and that little subplot in there for what it shows us about how people can act, and that we don't need to, have outside forces to make us truly be as evil or even more evil than the very demons that are in the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can we also just talk very briefly about Miki hugging Akira after, like, the whole thing is outed and he's revealed to be
Of course
devil?
we can.
Yes.
Oh, man. So Akira is outed as the Devilman on telly, and the rat crew who
Demons are real.
that was a scarily good impression right there. But the
Professor Fikira.
Stop that, God!
It's in my head. I can't get it out.
Good lord. But anyway, the rat crew learn that Akira is Devilman, and one of them pulls a gun on him.
Whammu.
Not Whammu, yes, not the Whammu of JoJo's fame, thankfully.
Everyone had to be thinking it, right?
Well, Whammu would, to be fair, would have been more effective with a gun, I would argue.
True.
Anyway, so things get quite tense, and Miki. This is bearing in mind that she's literally just found out her family are all dead. I really enjoyed the acting in that scene that led up to that as well, where there's just
when
that
he has
pause,
to tell her?
the pause, and then she just walks up and collapses against the door and bursts out into tears. That felt very natural as a reaction.
Yeah. Yes.
I honestly think to myself, like, that. I think Masaki Yuasa, like, he must have, like, studied or, like, it feels like in some ways almost like natural life study, some of this stuff, because it feels like almost like they've rotoscoped bits of it. Yeah. Not in the way it looks, but just like how convincing these people act.
Mm-hmm.
Using a physical, like, acting model for a whole scene as an animation trick, kind of. Mm-hmm. Like Disney's done that for years, but I think, like, I haven't seen Mind Game from what I hear, there, like, is live action, like, facial expressions in film.
Yes.
In it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And, like, I think what I mean by, like, this is a really, like, refined Yuasa is that he's taken, like, all those things that he's tried over the years, and, like, he uses them now to, like, just put it all together and make something incredible like that.
Yeah. But she comes downstairs, intervenes, and just hugs him. And it's such a wonderful moment of recognition, like, that she's his closest friend, and they never hook up in the show, at least not that I know of, but she still knows who she is, and even after learning this, even after having what I suspect was suspicions, even though she never outright thinks, wait, why did he jump between the balconies? Like, she still accepts it for his and realizes immediately that he is still the kind-hearted individual he was, because he cried over the death of her parents.
Yeah. And even if she had suspicions, like, from various balcony jumping and the fact that he's, like, gone at night now, like, she still trusted that he was the Akira that she always knew.
Yes.
And, like, knew that she didn't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Because he's a good boy and he'll do the right thing.
Yes. She was the person, I would argue, that Masaki Yuasa wants us all to be like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if there were more people like her, then hopefully none of the events of the finale would have actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because people would have been more tolerant and more empathic. It really is a testament, even though that things go so badly in the end and it's all over, that the show still says it is a strength and not a weakness to care about other people and to accept them for who they are and to recognize them as the good individuals they are.
Yeah, Akira and Miki, like, I think my favorite thing about their relationship is that it was not like, it was never questioned or diminished by the fact that there was nothing romantic necessarily between them.
Yes.
No resolution.
No resolution anyway. And, like, look, call me biased, but I would like to believe Miki's a lesbian.
Sure, right. For
that's fair.
Other Miki.
Yeah. Well, and just in general, like, she constantly insists that they're family, and, like, all of their interactions are kind of like, yeah, and even the, like, the kissy face part, she's just like, oh, you.
Yeah, she's like,
You're a strange one, you.
Yeah.
She never kind of reciprocates that attraction, but, like, not in a negative way. She doesn't need to.
She is kind of, like, oblivious to Akira's giant schlong in that second episode.
Yeah. The show sure isn't. Like, I will never forget this. I will never forget this. But I can't. And again, we're talking about dick, but it needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
So literally, like, after Akira's gone through his transformation, has changed from Harry Potter into, like, I don't know.
Harry Potter.
Like, I don't know. Like, he's turned into this, like, alpha male. People are commenting like, have you seen his bulge? And I'm like,
yeah.
I haven't. And then I guess Masaki Yuasa was like, okay, well, let's correct that, because we have a panning shot from his legs, goes up, stops at the bulge, and immediately cuts away, and I'm like, that's it. That's stayed into my brain for the rest of the time.
We know for a fact Masaki Yuasa thinks that dicks are funny.
Yeah.
He makes a point of it.
Oh, God.
Man, there was something else I was going to say, and now we've talked about this. It's gone.
What about, let's discuss briefly, what about Miki and Miko's final proper discussion in which Miko lets everything out?
Oh, boy.
It was beautiful.
That was so beautiful.
I think, generally speaking, a lot of people, as you've said, will in the show had feelings of jealousy of various stripes and colours. And a lot of people, I imagine, I mean, I have had it, like, have felt very jealous of other people and what they have and what, in turn, the jealous person does not. But what I loved about this was, like, for all of her obliviousness towards Akira, Miki literally says to Miko when she lays it out that she hates her, like, I knew. And I didn't think any less of you for it.
Yeah.
One might argue that maybe Miki should have done something about it and not just let it like she knew, but just left it. I don't know. I still really love that moment that she was still accepting of her and still felt as a friend, even though Miko felt diminished just by Miki's very existence.
Also the fact that she responds the same way when Miko says that she loves her.
Yeah.
Be like, I also knew that too. Like, she obviously is not, like, she's not just, like, the fact that she doesn't really recognize Akira's crush on her is not the fact that she's, like, socially inept and doesn't recognize things in other people. It's just her.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, actually.
She like, doesn't see the need to see things in black and white like her parents do.
Yeah.
You've been experiencing an excerpt from the Warui Deshou anime podcast. To get the full episode or any of our full episodes, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, visit our page on SoundCloud, or go to waruidesho.wordpress.com.